Hello, in this video I'm going to be diagnosing the head gasket leak in the TS200R that I found in the previous video, as indicated by the bubbling in the radiator. I'm also going to be coming up with a custom key switch mount, because when I replaced the analog gauge cluster on this bike with a digital one, it lost its mounting point. So at the moment it's just flapping in the breeze. And finally I'm going to be installing a cheap guard for the expansion chamber at the front of the bike. I don't think the pipe on the bike really needs it because it is fairly heavy duty steel. It should be resistant enough for the riding I'll be doing, but I guess it does add a little bit of a personalisation factor to the bike. So let's get to it. Normally the plug-in a two-stroke would have a carbon covering, or at least a little bit, but the cleanliness of this is another sign that there may be coolant actually getting into the cylinder as well. And so you can tell which cylinder's been leaking with a head gasket on a car, because it's normally the one that's had all the carbon cleaned out of it. Well, I think I just figured out why this thing is leaking. You're not supposed to be able to do this with head bolts. I don't think they did those with a torque wrench. It wouldn't surprise me if I just did these up and it fixed the problem. I have to think now if I should actually take the head off, or if I should just do up all the bolts to book spec with a torque wrench and see if it still leaks compression. Because if I do pull the head off, then I'll probably have to change the gasket too if it's been squished too much. Okay, so I've decided I'm just going to torque the head bolts to what they should be. I'm going to rearrange them though, because they're actually not in their correct spots. I'm not sure if you can see or not, but the studs coming out the top are different lengths. You can see there's two different types of nuts, and they have a specific place they're supposed to be, and of course they're not in the right spot. Okay, so I've just nipped up the bolts probably a couple of foot-pounds by hand. What I'm going to do now is get the torque wrench. The book says they should be 23 to 27 Newton meters. There is a numbering system on the top of the head in the order I believe you're supposed to do them up, so I will be following that. Okay, so it looks like the lowest this torque wrench goes is 14, so I'll do 14 first, make that 15. Hopefully I can fit in everywhere. Okay, so they're all at 15 Newton meters, so I'll now go to 25 Newton meters. They're all within spec now at 25 Newton meters, which is between 23 and 27. Now I'll reassemble it, just enough to do a test start, because we might not be out of the woods yet. Of course, with this spark plug, the engine still pings under load, so I'm not going to be riding it, but I am still going to check for bubbles. I've ordered some new spark plugs that are correct for this bike as well, so if those come before I upload this video, then I will ride it before the end of the video. This coolant definitely smells of compression. I might have to replace it. Okay, so it's now time to give it a test start to see if we still get a large amount of bubbles in the radiator. Because I've just filled the system, there will be some to begin with, just because there'll be trapped air, but once the system has split itself, it should all go away. So if the bubbles don't go away, you know there's still compression going into the circulation system. Success! That movement you could see in the coolant, that wasn't bubbles, that was just vibration. See a bit of dirt in there actually, so we can get that out. There is some circulation going on because the water is... oh, there's that dirt again. The water is a little bit warm at the moment, so the thermostat's partially open, but I think there is flow going on, otherwise this water wouldn't be warm. So I think that's a success. Don't have to worry about gaskets or anything. Just had to torque the nuts correctly.
Here's that bit of dirt I fished out. No more sailing through my radiator. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just get all the residue off of everything, just with some, I'll try soapy water in some places, but mostly fresh water. This is fresh water now. Okay, I've got all the white off of it, still plenty of mud and grease on everything, but I'm not washing the bike, just getting the coolant off. So once everything's dry again, if there's any coolant on things, I know it's new.
Okay, so I just heat cycled the bike all the way to a running temp, ran there for a bit and then turned it off, let it cool, and then started again with the cap off, and there was no bubbles in the radiator, everything is fine. The idle mixture seems to be staying lean now, not necessarily a good thing, but it is progress now that the mixture is actually staying in one place. So now I can tune it to what it should be and leave it how it is. In another video I actually made a high performance air filter for this bike. It's got a larger air filter cage and filter element than stock, so it's probably flowing a little bit more air. I expected things to go lean. The main jet was probably rich from factory, so that's probably why it still seems alright mid to top end, but the idle might need a little bit of addressing. Might be able to get away with just adjusting the screw. If not, I'll put 1 or 2 sizes up in the jet into the pilot jet and see how things go. Well, remember I said I was going to make a bracket for the key switch? I made it out of high density cardboard, so as you're riding around it's able to absorb the shock, so you don't have to worry about breaking the key switch. It's alright, I'm only kidding. Got some aluminium to make it out of. This should buff up nicely to like a shiny chrome mirror finish. This is after a bit of a buff. I did originally want to put it on the right side, but none of the cables would reach, and I didn't want to pull apart the wiring harness to change that, so it can stay where it is for now. So we'll see how long that bracket lasts. I think it's good enough for me. Okay, so I have this universal pipe guard. It was relatively cheap and it is quite thin. I've been on the fence on whether I want to install this. I don't think it'll do much, especially with this steel pipe. But I figure I have it, so I might as well use it. So I'm going to try and install it now into the pipe where most of the dints are.
Okay, so I'm going to use the bag as protection for when I form the shield around the exhaust, just so I'm not scratching the paint.
Well, I'm still on the fence with this. I wanted to put the guard around in front of the pipe a little bit more, but that's the way it wanted to form. I couldn't really get it to form sideways to snake up the side of the header part of the pipe. I couldn't put the hose clamp up the fatter part of the pipe because it wasn't big enough. So this is kind of sticking out a bit here at the moment. I probably could bend it in a bit more. But if I do clip this on something, it'll probably fold the guard back down. So there might be a bit of a pain, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Well, if you made it this far into the video, I understand I was probably a bit monotonous at times. Thank you very much for watching. So with the fizzy radiator problem solved, a solidly mounted kill switch and a guard on the expansion chamber, I think we've accomplished what we set out to do with this video. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.